Okay, so we are going to go to linear programming. In linear programming, what did I say? The whole concept of linear programming is the most important fundamental concept. First and foremost is everybody must know how to write inequalities based on a given information, statement, or sentence. That means from the sentence given to you, where a data is discharged to you, a data is given to you, you must be able to read the sentence and transform them into an inequality. That's the first thing. Once you have transformed it into an inequality, the next thing is to draw a graph based on the inequalities you have and get the region you want. That means you have to shape the region that is bonded by the inequalities that you've got. That's the second part. The third part is how to use the shaded region to answer the questions that follows. Okay, so there are three parts. So let's tackle the first part, writing of inequalities. To write inequalities, this is the following guide. Guide number 1, take down. Okay, all right. Part A, that means just put part A, not less than 10. Not less than 10. That means write the sentence not less than 10. It's part A, not less than 10. So now you ask yourself, now what is not less than 10? That one we don't worry, because the examiner can give you any variable. The miss can give you, let's say there are 10, let's say a carpenter wants to build a certain number of tables and chairs. All right, a certain number of tables and chairs. So you say, let the certain number of tables be X. Let the certain number of chairs be Y. So you have brought in your variable X and Y. So that is your X and Y. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the concept of inequality when the examiner says this phrase. Look for this catchphrase. Not less than 10. Not less than 10 means what? It means the smallest. Always ask yourself like that. What's the smallest value? What's the maximum value? And the smallest value is 10. All right? Maximum value, the examiner did not say, which means infinity. Therefore, the inequality that will represent that will be 10. So if the examiner says the number of chairs should not be less than 10, and the number of chairs is X, then X is greater than or equals to 10. That's what it means. So we are more interested in this. Okay, so take that down. So now we go for part B. Take down part A and then we move on to part B. Part B is must be more than 40. Must be more than 40. Must be more than 40. So if they say must be more than 40, what are they trying to say? Similar to that. Only thing is not less than 10 can mean it can be equal to 10. Just that they don't want less than 10. But what about 10? Yes, accepted. But here must be more than 40. That means is 40 accepted? No. So the difference will be that as an equal sign, this one does not carry an equal sign. So the inequality will become like that. Okay? Okay. Now, must be 40 and more. Must be 40 and more. Now, it's a bit different. Now it means the equal sign comes in, because 40 is also accepted. Now we go to part C. X must exceed Y by 10. X must exceed Y by 10. So how will that be translated? That means first ask yourself, which is bigger? Between X and Y, which is bigger? X must exceed. So X must be greater. Y must be smaller. By how much? 10. So that means it gives you this information. X minus Y, 10. So what symbol do I put in here? So X must exceed Y by 10. Okay? Must exceed. That means greater than. Can it be equal to 10? No, it cannot be equal to 10. Okay? So this is must exceed Y by 10. Sorry. By 10 means equal sign. Sorry. By 10 means equal sign. So X must exceed Y. That means it must be greater than Y by 10. That means exactly 10. Exactly 10. So X minus Y exactly 10. Or your x is equals to y plus 10. This is what it means by that. But what if I say x must exceed y exceed y at most by 10. At most by 10. So I'm saying at most by 10. So when I say at most by 10 means maximum 10. That means the concept is still x minus y. The 10 is still there. But 10 must be the largest. The most is 10. So that means less than 10 cannot count. So now it becomes that inequality. At most by 10. That means maximum 10. What about less than 10? 10. Or you can write as less equals to y plus 10. Or y plus 10 more equals to x. All these are correct. So take all this down. These are the things you must be careful of. Okay? All right. These are the inequalities you must be careful of. Right? Okay. Now let's go. Continue. Let's continue. Just keep taking down. Huh? Next will be a minimum of 80. So they give you a minimum of 80. This will be quite easy. A minimum of 80 means the smallest number or smallest value is 80. So it is minimum 80. So it has to be, the map says, is 80 included? Is 80 in? A minimum of 80 means 80 and more. So equals a maximum of 80. This is the other way around. 80 can, but more than 80 cannot. More than 80 cannot. So which means it must be less than or equals to 80. Okay, less than or equals to 80. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. What's the next one? The next one is at least 250. At least, if they give you this phrase, at least 250. At least 250. So what does that mean? That means the least number is 250. All right, so that means it has to be more than 250. Because the smallest is 250, so it has to be 250 and more. 250 and more. So opposite of this will be what? Not more than. Not more than. Let's say 100. No, not more than 100. That means maximum is 100. So it has to be 100 and less. That's the conversion of to inequality. Okay. Now do you have some more? Of course you have some more. All right. You have more. Then you complete your whole idea of inequality. So linear programming will be easy for you. This is the biggest headache for you, right? Because you get it wrong, the whole thing is wrong. Next, x is not more than 3 times y. X is not more than 3 times y. X is not more than 3 times y. So what is your understanding here? So of course, your y has to be multiplied by 3 because y has 3 as this condition. 3 times y means y multiplied by 3. So you'll get 3y. But the condition is not more than 3 times. So your x on one side, your y on the other side, and your x cannot exceed more than 3 times y. So that's the maximum value. So it has to be less or equals to. That means not more than 3 times means maximum 3 times. Or less, cannot be more. Okay, next place will be the total of x and y. The total of x and y. The total of x and y is not less than 500. Is not less than 500. How would that be? See, total of x and y. So total of x and y means your x plus y. That would be total. Not less than 500. That means 500 is the minimum. It cannot be less than 500. But what about 500? 500 can, because it says cannot be less than 500. So it should be more or equals to 500. Okay, that's how you get that trace. All right, x is at most 2 times y. X is at most 2 times y. So again, 2 times y. So you have x on one side, you have 2y on the other side, just like what we have here. But here is at most. Here is not more, here is at most. That means maximum 2y. So x can be anything less than 2y or equals to 2y. All right, finally, x is not less than 2 times y. X is not less than 2 times y. Let me look at that. Again, x on one side, 2y on the other. This time is not less. That means cannot be smaller. That means it has to be 2 times y or more. These are some of the inequalities you come across. Okay, some of the inequalities you come across in order to help you attempt linear programming very well.